Hey guys, it's Frank Spear back with you for another short video today, and I just kind of wanted to drop something on you, see what you think about it, so that you can ponder it and see if it jives with you. But something has struck me recently about the 1,000-year period mentioned in the book of Revelation, commonly known as the millennium, 1,000-year period. And John, the author of the book of Revelation, says that certain things would happen when the 1,000-year period was up. Now, many scholars and people have struggled with the exact meaning of that 1,000-year period, and I'm just going to give you a take on it so you can meditate upon that for yourself and see if it bears out in any way, stands up, holds up. In 2 Peter chapter 3, Peter, in refuting the naysayers who were saying that Christ was not going to return in their day, that everything was continuing just as it was from the beginning, nothing's changed, he's not coming back. And Peter says 1,000 years is like a day to God, and a day is like 1,000 years. Okay? And so this 1,000-year number comes up once again in connection with the return of Christ. Certainly John would have been familiar with Peter's writings and was referring back, I believe, to that number that Peter wrote about. And they probably all understood this 1,000-year number and what it meant, even if we don't. I'm certain that they did. But I want to suggest this to you. About 960 years before the death and resurrection of Jesus, King David had conquered a people living in a certain place, a city, and Jerusalem, and took Jerusalem for themselves. So the tribe of Judah now made Jerusalem their holy city. David sat on the throne in Jerusalem and reigned from Jerusalem. The temple was built in Jerusalem, and the temple remained in Jerusalem for all of that time up until the time of Christ, even though it was destroyed at a certain time and rebuilt. Jerusalem was the home of the temple and the people of God and the presence of God in that temple among God's people. So it was the house of the Lord, Jerusalem. It's Zion. It's the holy city and the holy place situated in the holy land, right? It's almost fair to say that the Jews couldn't live without Jerusalem, right? They'd rather die than not have Jerusalem. It's everything to them. Their whole theocracy is built around Jerusalem and the presence of God in that whole most holy place in the temple. So about 960 years before the death of Christ is when Jerusalem became established as the holy city of the people of God, the Judahites, okay? Now, the book of Revelation says when 1,000 years was completed, the new kingdom would be ushered in. The new kingdom of God, the new covenant. Okay? So the book of Acts, or the period in the New Testament in which the gospel is going out to the known world of the day, that time period from the death of Jesus until the destruction of Jerusalem, never to return to the Jews or to Israel in any way as their holy city. Still to this day, there's no temple there, right? That whole system was abolished according to God in AD 70. So if you take that 40-year period that the gospel went on, okay, and Jesus we are told in the New Testament that Jesus reigned from the throne of his father David. Jesus took the throne of David after his resurrection and sat upon that throne and was reigning over the Jews as the King of the Jews, sitting on David's throne. Now, if that's not fascinating, I don't know what your definition of fascinating is. So Jesus for 40 years reigned on David's throne. So I'm suggesting to you that he did that until Jerusalem was destroyed, which we know. So you take the 960 years from when David first took over Jerusalem and sat on that throne, then the rest of the kings followed, until the time that Jerusalem was removed as the holy city. And that 40-year period where the gospel went out to usher in the new kingdom adds up to a 1,000-year period. 960 plus 40 equals 1,000. when the 1,000 years of Jerusalem as being the city of David, the city of God, the city of the Jews, the city of God's presence, the city that signified, that typified the presence of God on earth. Okay? When that came to an end and the new covenant was instituted, that was a 1,000-year period. And Jesus, I'm suggesting, came to fulfill the remaining 40 years as king over Israel on David's throne. Ponder that. Think about it. How does that sit with you? I'm suggesting it as a possibility. I have a book out there I just finished writing on the biblical demons. It's called Cast Them Out. Who Were the Biblical Demons? It's available on Amazon. Just search Frank Spear, my name. Search Cast Them Out and then Frank Spear, S-P-E-E-R. I hope you'll pick the book up. I hope you will share it with your friends. Suggest that they also get a copy. It's available on Kindle as well. What else do I want to say about that? I hope you'll write a review about it, whether you like it or you don't like it, you agree with it or you don't agree with it. And if you don't agree with it, be kind. I'm fragile. Also, I hope you share these videos with your friends. If these mean something to you in some way or are intriguing in any way, I hope that you'll share it with your friends. God bless you guys. Thanks for taking the time with me today, and I'll see you next time.